Gone from Rishi Sunak in the pouring rain to Rishi Sunak not staying at the D-Day commemorations. I mean, those are the two key points of the election so far, I think, for a lot of us, other than, you know, Keir Starmer. Apparently, I don't know if you've heard what his father does for a living. Anyone got any guesses? Anyone?
Oh, I think it was...
He never mentions it.
No, never mentions it.
No, can't remember it anyway. But now the latest big issue that has really, really got the attention of the nation is this extraordinary betting scandal. And it is an extraordinary thing, is it not, Tim? We have got Rishi Sunak suspending two Tory candidates accused of wages, one of whom has admitted publicly that he posted a wager on the date of the July 4th election, having basically, you know, got inside information that it was going to be July the 4th. We understand up to 15 Conservative candidates are being looked at. We have got a Cabinet Minister, Scottish Secretary Alistair Jack, saying he placed 3 bets, winning £100 in total, but he told people he'd won 2,000 or more. He says he broke no rules. We've got a police officer, a close protection officer being looked into by the police and the Gambling Commission. We're told another 5 are being looked into. Oh, and now we've got a Labour candidate, Kevin Craig, suspended by Labour after he, bizarrely, bet on himself to lose his election. What is going on, and why does anyone working in this world think this is acceptable?
Well, I think do you remember the parliamentary expenses scandal?
Oh, I do.
Now, I think what happened there was MPs thought they weren't paid enough, and so it became sort of accepted practice that you could top up your income by sort of slightly bending the rules and worse.
There was kind of, actually, people aren't honest about this now, there was kind of a wink, nudge,
exactly.
Nudge. But well, we can't put your wages, everyone will be aware of that.
Yeah.
But we'll just bump up your expenses.
And I think there's a little bit of that in this affair. I think betting is rife across Westminster, and not just amongst MPs. I think our fellow journalists are quite involved in this as well.
That's something Paul says, Guido Fawkes' website. They've been putting out, everyone's placing an awful lot of bets. Lots of journalists do this as well. Lots and lots, millions of people across the country will do this.
Yeah.
There is a difference, though, when you talk about, say, for instance, you know, a footballer or a jockey betting on themselves to lose, or you know, to fix a match or whatever, or someone with insider trading information betting in the city. There are actually rules and laws about this. There are certainly laws guarding against a close protection officer, and again, no, we don't know if charges will be brought or if anyone's going to be proven guilty. We should go through the particular procedure. If it were the case that a close protection officer overheard a conversation in a car or room and then used that to try and make money, that is an absolute outrage. Grave breach of trust. I think most of us are of the view that a political advisor or a campaign director or anyone like that in a room at a meeting where, right, we're going for a July the 4th election, keep it under your hats, we're going to announce it this Thursday, blah, blah, or whatever. That clearly inappropriate, unethical. Whether or not it's illegal or not is a different matter. But what about people just genuinely, like a cabinet minister, saying, well, you know, back in April I placed a bet that I thought the election would probably be in July because of these reasons. It's not because Rishi said, yeah, I'm going for July. I placed the bet because his argument is because I thought that was the most logical time for us to have an election.
I think,
has he done anything wrong?
Well, I think with most of these, there's always where you draw the line. So, for example, I did a bet on this general election.
You have insider information, you know, but you know everybody.
Yeah. Well, look, I bet on November the 14th.
Yeah.
Now, what I thought was the Tories aren't going to go early, they're not going to want to wait till the last minute, and they want to go after party conference because they make a lot of money.
Yeah. And after half-term, and after the US election.
That sort of thing,
that was the date I had in my head,
And obviously I've lost my bet, not going to make any money. But after this scandal, I'm just wondering, I'm just not going to bet anymore on politics. Now, maybe I'm being far too cautious, but I do know people who perhaps could have had inside information.
Yeah.
People who bet may not have been in the room with Rishi Sunak on the general election day, but were they informed by people who were?
Or got the nod, or just got the... I know somebody who works in the advertising industry, and he's always been very useful to point out, oh, they've now suspended the government's spending on, you know, because of the PERDA rules on advertising campaigns, which are government because they can benefit the sitting incumbent government. And that's always been a very good indicator. Usually get it a couple of hours early.
Yeah.
I think for most of us in Westminster, it came as a complete shock that it was a 4th of July election. I think it was quite a big shock to most of the cabinet, from what we can understand. But this is where it comes into. We spoke to James Robinson, a Labour advisor, former Labour advisor, earlier on the show, and we're speaking obviously to people, representatives over the week and all the different shows of representing all the different parties. But he said this is about trust. Yeah. This is about this idea that people working in politics, whether they're telling us we have to stay home and not see our elderly mothers, but we're busy having a party during lockdown, or whether they're going, oh look, this is a really important election about the cost of living, we really care about. Yeah, I'm just going to try and make some money down the bookies. It's about people feeling that the people involved in politics, whether politicians, aides, candidates, whoever, they just don't give a toss about us.
And they're on the make. They're in it for themselves. And why I think this scandal...
Is it true? Are they?
Well, I think they're probably... We all like to top up our income in little ways, don't we? And this is a way that people have come to do it, and they shouldn't. And I think why it works is people understand this. You know, there's all sorts of scandals that happen in Westminster in politics.
I mean the Angela Rayner one about her council home. I mean, it took about half an hour to explain the story.
Exactly, and therefore it doesn't cut through. But most people have a little flutter, at least if it's on the Grand National, if not. And people get it, and they get the idea that if you've got something, it's not a bet. If you know what the result is going to be, that you know the outcome, that is definitely wrong.
That's the difference. Okay.
And I think we need to clean the whole culture up. I think it's potentially going too far.
If you're working in this world, you can't. But should political journalists be able to gamble?
I think it's probably better that we don't, which is why I've taken the decision that I have. And maybe I'm being too puritanical.
I am quite puritanical these days.